Hello and good evening, everyone. Here's another Tuesday evening as we carry on with our excerpts from the recent Congress that we finished. If you are new to the YouTube channel, please feel free to browse through semester 1, 2, 3, our introductory lectures to the Wisdom of Kabbalah. And also, if you're interested in the Wisdom of Kabbalah, you can always go to Kabbalah.info and join the KabU Academy to actually study the Wisdom of Kabbalah with like-minded people. Here you'll find excerpts from lessons that are more for progress students, but feel free to listen along. If you have any questions, as you know, you can always shoot them through. We'll try to find answers together from the text. So this is the second lesson of the last Congress that we went through. The society is the source of power, excerpt number 1, Rabash article number 1 from 1984, and it's the purpose of society 1. We gather here to establish a society where each of us follows the spirit of bestowing upon the Creator. And to achieve bestowal upon the Creator, we must begin with bestowal upon man, which is called love of others. Thus, on the one hand, each person should feel lowly, and on the other hand, be proud that the Creator has given us the chance to be in a society where each of us has but a single goal: for divinity to be among us. All right, as usual, let's read that again. We gather here to establish a society where each of us follows the spirit of bestowing upon the Creator. All right, so this is really important. On the first sentence, straight away, Rabbi says there's only one reason for us to be together. There is no other reason. Okay, where we want to attain the attribute of bestowal so that we can bestow upon the Creator. There is no other purpose for the group to get together. And to achieve bestowal upon the Creator, we must begin with bestowal upon man. So he's given us the reason, okay, why we're together. And straight up second sentence, well, to start doing that, what we have to do is to bestow to each other, okay, which is called love of others. Thus, on the one hand, each person should feel lowly, and on the other hand, be proud that the Creator has given us the chance to be in a society where each of us has but a single goal: for divinity to be among us. And he's also given us tips on how to bestow to others, how to love others. So each one should feel lowly. What does that really mean? It means that I should see how my egoism is making me lowly, how my egoism is against loving others. Okay, as you know from our previous lectures and all the lessons that we're always going through, that human nature is an egoistic nature to receive pleasure for one's self. And the more I reveal that, the more I reveal that I don't like other people. In fact, I hate everybody. All right. Now, this is a bit of a strong word. Okay, so a lot of people say, you know, oh, but I don't hate anyone. I love everyone. You know, we do get that kind too. It's not a problem. The reason that we don't feel that way is we haven't really encountered what our egoism is. So as we study the wisdom of Kabbalah more and more, what a person begins to realize is that, well, all my actions are what makes us feel good. That automatically means that I don't really care what happens to anybody else. Right? And if I don't care about what happens to anybody else, that's obviously means that I hate others. Okay? Does that make sense? Right? It has to start making sense. The reason a person in the outside world doesn't really discover that is because they're not working towards loving others. Okay? For people on the outside who have a regular life, they're not engaging in this thing called, oh, I need to love other people, because from there I can get a spiritual elevation and bestow to the Creator. There's nobody in that mental framework that's like directing themselves specifically for that. And if you're not directing yourself specifically for a purpose, doesn't matter what purpose, any purpose in life will do, you will not reveal things that are against that purpose. Okay, so if I direct myself to a purpose, specifically for a purpose, it should be contra to that purpose, which should show me what I have to overcome in order to be successful in what I want to get at. It's the same thing in life. All right, it's the same principle. Nothing's changing. The laws of nature do not change. This is why it's very important for us to understand these little things. He kind of sprinkles these along, in between sentences, right? It's like a sentence here, a sentence there, and so on. But he's obviously not writing anything by coincidence, because he has some kind of a hierarchy. He says, listen, this is why we came here. Okay, this is what we want to attain. In order to attain that, this is what we've got to do. And if we start doing that, this is what we need to feel. And the whole purpose is to feel the Creator between us. He's giving us everything step by step in a paragraph. Okay, it's all sentence by sentence. Bang, 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 bang. The only thing missing here is the 21st century format, which is bullet points. Okay, he's got it all in a paragraph. Normally, in the 21st century, with our lack of focus, what you'd want to do is put this bullet point by bullet point with a line in between, a space in between. Okay, so it's all crystal clear what we've got to do, 1, 2, 3, 4. But the concept is very hierarchical. As you can see, he's got a system here that's working. Excerpt number 2. This is from Rabash article number 14, The Need for Our Friends. There's a special power in the adhesion of friends, since the views and thoughts pass from one to the other. Through the adhesion between them, each is incorporated with the powers of the other, and by that, each one has the power of the whole society. And therefore, although each person is an individual, he has the power of the whole society. Critical principle. Let's read that again. Try to dissect. You guys stop me if there's a question, okay? Just wave or do something. There's a special power in the adhesion of friends. Since the views and thoughts pass from one to the other through the adhesion between them, each is incorporated with the powers of the other. And by that, each one has the power of the whole society. If we're all united for a certain goal, and if we're all working towards that goal, we're all inclined to think about what we want to attain and how we would like to go about attaining it. If our thoughts are engaged on the goal, then our thoughts will mingle. They'll be incorporated with one another. The only way you can increase your desire is by thought. If you think about it. Okay? The more you think about it, the more you invest in it, the bigger your desire will be. Therefore, if I mingle with a group of people who are thinking, desiring, and intending the same thing, I'm receiving strength from the environment to be what I want to be. If I am not, because the work is against my nature, I will be weak and I will fall off the bandwagon. And there are no other way around it. Either that way or that way. There is no in between. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, this is how it's with real life as well. If anybody wants to be a scientist, okay, he's not going to hang around with a bunch of hard rock fans, is he? It's just not going to happen. Okay, first of all, he doesn't want to headbang because he wants to preserve his brain, obviously, because he wants to be a scientist. And because he wants to enlarge his vessel What he wants to do is to hang around with people who can help him enlarge that vessel. Right? It's just a simple principle. I think modern science is also discovering that we are a product of the environment. I think everybody knows that by now. Okay, this is why we've got marketing, don't we? Advertising. Okay, the more I see something, the more I'm like, oh, that looks good. Maybe I'll go and buy it. Same thing here. If I'm hanging around with the same kind of people who are thinking about the same thing, I will buy that idea. Okay, and that is a person being influenced by advertising. So we need to advertise to each other how important the purpose of life is. So all of us have got to be like this propaganda machine. We've got to have this propaganda that the meaning of life is the best thing in the world for all of us. And the more we're involved in it, the more we'll get strength from it. That's how it is. A group is only as strong as the thought behind what it wants to accomplish. Wanting something randomly, or even specifically at the beginning of a project or beginning of an assignment or beginning of a goal, anything in life, is not enough. It cannot be enough just to want something. I want something. Well, good on you. What are you going to do about it? That is the question, right? And you'll find a lot of people on the planet, well, to be precisely 8 billion of them, okay, who all want something great for themselves, but never end up getting anything great for themselves simply because there's no action, drive, or focused push behind it. All right, so it's the same thing here. If I want to attain something great, something amazing, I have to think big, don't I? If I think big, and if I want to get something big, I've got to be around people who are also thinking big. Okay, and that's the whole idea. Otherwise, the regular person out there on the street is going to suck your blood. This is why a majority of the people will always say, oh, you can't do that. Oh, it's not doable. It's not doable. You twit. We can do anything if we put our mind to it. See what I mean? All right. And this is why the group is important. Now, with corporeal goals, because we're going for something that's plus or minus understandable in life, we've got pushing power, right? Because we can imagine what it's like to be rich or powerful or, wise or knowing. Okay, we got a vision about it, but we're on a different, complete different dimension, because the purpose of the study is to attain the creator. So right off the bat, that's like, okay, that's not doable. Okay, so I can believe you want to get rich, you want to be a scientist, you want to go to the moon, you want to go to Jupiter. I can kind of resonate. Okay, because we've been to the moon, so I presume we can go to the next step. But to say to someone, well, we want to attain God, that's like a whole different ball game, and it's completely wacko. Why isn't it wacko to us? Because the dot in the heart resonates with the meaning of life. And that is the only thing we've got. This is why it's a gut feeling. It's just a hunch. Okay? And that's what we have to grow, the hunch that this can be done. This is logical. Okay? And the only thing that makes it logical is the dot in the heart, which resonates with the idea. And that's the reshimot, actually, that we have from the beginning of creation, when the Creator first created us and Him in touch, when we were in contact with Him. And that contact point is the dot in the heart. And when it awakens, it's like, there's got to be more to life than all of this, everything. There must be more. So when we're in this feeling of looking for the meaning of life, for something above our corporeal reality, and then we find answers to the meaning of life, it begins to make sense, but it's still against our egoistic desire, which is strong. So in order to overcome it, I need like-minded people, just like I need to overcome any problem in work, in science, or whatever. I need like-minded people who can throw in ideas so we can get this done. Okay, and that way I have the power of the whole group. Why do I have, how can I have the power of the whole group? Well, if I'm a part of the group and we're all chipping in, and if there are a bunch of people who resonate with the same goal, I feel close to them. I begin to feel responsible towards them. I begin to feel that we can do this together. And that gives a person strength. It gives them the strength to get up, to do something and everything. This is why the society is important, especially in our business, because we have to go against our desire to receive all the time. Excerpt number 3 from article number 17, again, Rabash, the meaning of the strict prohibition to teach idol worshippers the Torah. Okay, the meaning of the strict prohibition to teach idol worshippers the Torah. It is impossible to receive the influence of the society if he is not attached to the society. Meaning, if he does not appreciate them, to the extent that he does, he can receive from them the influence without any work, simply by adhering to the society. All right? So I need to appreciate the goal. If I appreciate the goal, I can appreciate the people who I'm trying to attain with, even though I may not particularly be fond of them. It's same in business, isn't it? Think of this like business. I have a business and it's got a big potential. I don't like my co-workers, but this has got big potential. So I put up with them. As long as everybody's doing the job and nobody's disturbing the project, we're all honky-dory. Okay? So this is the same thing. It's quite logical. If we understand that we're going to get somewhere and together it's doable and everybody's kind of like okay with it, and we want to put in our 2 cents so we can get this rolling, that's all we need. All I need to do is appreciate the fact that everybody's doing their job, even though personality-wise, I may not like them. It's not a big deal. Okay, to the extent that he does, he can receive from the influence without any work, simply by adhering to the society. So every time, even if I don't like them, obviously it's preferable that we like each other at least a little bit. But okay, however, even if I'm not there yet, by just sticking around them, I get influenced by them. If I just stick around, okay, it's the same thing. So stick around, as they say, and you'll get an education. It's the same mentality. Excerpt number 4, this is from Rav Nachman of Breshlev, from the Assorted Rules. The essence of love and unity is in the desire. When each one pleases his friend, there is no disparity of desire among them, and all are incorporated in one desire, by which they are incorporated in the upper desire, which is the purpose of the unity. Again, the essence of love and unity is in the desire. When each one pleases his friend, there is no disparity of desire among them, and all are incorporated in one desire, by which they are incorporated in the upper desire, which is the purpose of the unity. Okay, so all we have to do is understand why we need to be in love and unity. The essence of love and unity basically is why we're doing it. Okay, this is the most important thing we've got to strengthen. Why am I in the game? Okay, why are we in this? Why am I studying? And the more I strengthen to myself the purpose, then things become clearer. And then I don't have to go through all these emotional ups and downs with the friends. I can have a good day, bad day, it won't matter. The important thing always becomes the goal. That way you're going through ups and downs all the time emotionally, because like I said, we're going against our desire all the time. Then it begins to, over time, turn into a work which is above the emotions. So it feels like, despite the fact that you're going through emotions, right? You're not deleting emotions. You're not like all mind and no emotion like a robot. That's not the case. You're going through a lot of emotions, ups and downs, but the goal is so strong intentionally that despite your ups and downs, you're above the ups and downs and you're happy to go along with it. Then with that solid mind, you can evaluate the feelings you're going through. And then they can be a catalyst to enlarge and or strengthen the goal even more. Okay, so the ups and downs then become a tool if I'm not carried away with emotions. How can I always keep my state of mind? Well, obviously you can't always, but the main trick behind it is reading the articles as much as you can. Because what you want to get from the article is what is the path they're trying to convey to us. Okay, the whole idea of the article is that you're going to go through this stuff. Okay, so by understanding I'm going to go through it, even if I'm not going through it yet, because I may not be there yet, right? I may be right in the beginning of the path or somewhere along the path, doesn't really matter. I may not have gone through that emotion, but when they write it down and I'm constantly chewing the material, I begin to understand sooner or later when I go through that, I'm going to say, all right, this is what they wrote about. And in the same article, it'll also tell you what to do about it. All right. So then you got the emotion, then you got the action. So emotion connected with the action to complement each other will then push you to obviously your next level, right? Okay, because you got feeling, and after the feeling, you've got to do something about it, all right? Evaluating it with your mind, then doing something with that emotion. I don't know, adding love, adding compassion, bestowing more, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Adding to the connection could be anything that you pick up from the article. Then that'll take you to your next level. So the essence of love and unity is in the desire. It means what we want to achieve. When each one pleases his friend, everybody needs to help everybody else. Otherwise, we cannot build mutual love. If everybody helps his friend or her friend, what we're actually building is a connection. It means I'm happy to help you for this. We want to attain a common goal, and I want to do everything I can for you. So if I do that, if you do that, if he does that, she does that, everybody starts doing that, then all of a sudden we're like a family. Okay, because everybody's working for the benefit of everybody else. Why? For the purpose of creation, for the purpose of life, the meaning of life. That connects us because the goal is spiritual, then that connects us in a spiritual way. Right? If we behave like a family for a corporeal life, then that will connect us corporeally. You understand what I mean? So in order to jump to a spiritual level, this is why the essence of the goal is to attain spirituality, which is to bestow to the Creator, then with this mutual connection, we now have a vessel to which we can bestow. Why? Because we just mutually built one. Right? Does that make sense? Okay, it should make sense. Okay, because this is exactly how it needs to be done. All right, what's up? What questions? Ingrid's asking, what does it mean, like-minded friends? What do the friends want? That's a nice question. So on day one, we should all clarify, well, not on day one maybe, but along the path, that we all have one reason to be here, just one purpose to be here. And that is to attain the meaning of life. Because at the end of the day, who comes to the wisdom of Kabbalah? And what is the wisdom of Kabbalah really for? Because the authentic wisdom of Kabbalah, if you forget all the junk out there on the internet, authentic wisdom of Kabbalah comes to us from Adam. And it only comes for one reason. That's to attain spirituality. And spirituality means to attain the same perspective to life like the Creator. That's what spirituality is. That's what being Adam is. To be like the Creator in reality. So therefore, what do we all want? We all want the same thing, and that is what makes us like-minded. Okay, like-minded means the same desire. We all have the same desire, and we all want to grow that same desire, to come to perceive and unite with the Creator in the attribute of love and bestowal. All right. Let's move on then, shall we? Excerpt number 5. This is from Rabash, article number 6, Love of Friends number 2. By each joining the society and annulling oneself before it, they become one body. For example, if there are 10 people in that body, it has 10 times more power than a single person does. Okay, so this is again, nice one. By each joining the society and annulling oneself before it. So what are we annulling before? We're annulling before the goal, aren't we? Okay, because we want to attain a goal. So I want to put aside all my differences with everybody else and just attain the goal. So all of us are thinking like, well, you're from Timbuktu, I'm from Mars, and he's from wherever. We're all different. Okay, everybody's got a different character, different personality. And when we look at each other, we're thinking, yeah, I don't have anything in common with these guys at all. But if we drill down a little bit, despite all our differences globally, with our cultures, religions, ethnicities, leave that all aside. Okay, leave all our worldly desires aside as well. At the end of the day, we'll all find that we're 8 billion people under the sun, all desire to receive for themselves. And the whole of creation is created for one reason only, and that's to elevate ourselves to a higher degree. And if I can annul everything just for that, then I can elevate myself above my nature. At the end of the day, what is our nature? Well, okay, so we're always talking about a desire to receive for ourselves. Included in that is everything I grew up with, all my beliefs, all my, everything about me, the way I look at life, the way I value life, the way I think about life, my ethics, values, beliefs, think process, whatever. I am the outcome of the society I grew up in. So everything I value is based on that. But for a higher goal, I'm willing to annul everything. Okay. And bit by bit, as the goal becomes more and more important, in the wisdom of Kabbalah, we see that people begin to connect despite their differences. And I think this is the magic behind this wisdom, that it gives humanity, every one of us from all around the world, it gives us all not just the feeling, but the understanding that we're all just one society on the planet. And at the end of the day, we need to come to a higher level. Otherwise, we're all going to end up dead here. Okay, with really nothing to look forward to. Okay, so it brings us an understanding, a feeling, and a sense of logic to life. Right. So by annulling myself to the goal, that's what the society is, because the society is together for a certain goal. So I'm not really annulling myself to other people. I'm annulling myself to what we commonly want to achieve. Right? This is why sometimes people find it difficult, because they're always thinking about, well, what am I going to annul to? How am I supposed to annul myself? What to annul to? Do I need to annul to everybody, and so on? We need to just annul to the purpose of life, and that's it, really. And what does he say afterwards? They become one body. Why? Because we all start to desire the same thing. Because if we all put our differences aside and just focus on the love of others in order to come to the love of the Creator, then we're united, actually. Because we've just cleaned out everything and we just focus on one clean desire, the purpose of life. And that makes us one society, no matter where we're all from. For example, if there are 10 people in that body, it has 10 times more power than a single person does. And this is so true. And this works even better when we're all different, very different. And this is why the Creator brings us together in such a way that, more often than not, in every group, you get together with people normally you would never hang out with. It's a wonder. It really, really is. Okay. So in your corporeal life, you think, who would hang out with that person? And then you find yourself in a spiritual group with a person like that. And that's like the Creator looking at you and saying, well, there you go, sunshine. You want to grow up. And that's how it is. But this is really the beauty about it. It gives you the feeling that you can really connect with the whole of reality. Okay, you can really go beyond your borders, beyond your parameters. What you thought you were before, you can be much, much greater because you feel like unrestricted. Kind of like, got rid of all the garbage, started life with a clean slate, with no preconditions, with no judgments, nothing pre. Everything pre about you is just wiped out, and you start really clean. And this gives a person a fresh new start, especially in the group. It begins to give you a higher level of mind, thought, and thinking as well. That you begin to see and feel people far beyond what they know themselves to be. You can really dig into and get great sensations and feelings from what other people are like, what they really are, that even they can't describe to themselves about their own personality. This is how close you can feel them. You can see things in them that they don't see in themselves that they have. And this is really the magic of a society coming together for the purpose of achieving a higher reality, a higher purpose, spirituality, or bestowal. So these are kind of great impressions we can all get in the group if we just take these little, these little recommendations that Rabash gives us, a sentence here, a sentence there, and all of a sudden a whole new world can open up to a person. Excerpt number 6. This is Rabash article number 21, concerning above reason. Can be obtained by adhesion of friends. new qualities by which they will be qualified to achieve adhesion with the Creator. And all this can be said while he sees the merits of the friends. And at that time, it is relevant to say that he should learn from their actions. Okay, let's read that again. All right. Can be obtained by adhesion of friends. So going above reason, it's a new quality. So we have to look at life completely above our current logical state. Let's read it again. Can be obtained by adhesion of friends, new qualities by which they will be qualified to achieve adhesion with the Creator. So by sticking around with the group, I can begin to feel changes in me, which I would normally not have done before. Okay, like thinking for the benefit of somebody else, where normally I would say, no, I'll just think about myself. Okay, so as we study and integrate more and more, people begin to get these little thoughts that, I should do this for the friends. That'd be good if I did this for the friends. Okay, you'll begin to catch yourself thinking for the benefit of others. Where are we getting that from? Normally, things that we wouldn't get, because the environment, the study, the light, it's all like influencing us. Because the more we have a desire towards adhesion with the Creator, it becomes more logical and more kind of inherent to us that this is how we should be. We should bestow to the friends. We should do good to others. That is the new mind we're getting. Okay, so going above reason is through the study, through the whole process we're going through in the wisdom of Kabbalah, is this getting this new perspective that is putting me above my own personal benefit. And all this can be said while he sees the merits of the friends. This is really important. What motivates a person to do that is because he begins to see that in others. This is why in the previous excerpts, we talked about, how can I do something good for the friends? If I'm thinking about what I can do for the friends, for their benefit, then the more I think about it and the more I do stuff, well, habit starts to become second nature, doesn't it? So then it only becomes natural for me to start thinking about the benefit of others. And if everybody's also doing the same thing, everybody's like showing the friends how much they care, how much they're helping out so that we can all move forward, then I begin to feel even more normal about bestowal. It begins to make sense. It begins to make sense above your current or the previous nonsense. Okay, see what I mean? So on top of your previous nonsense, it begins to make a new kind of sense. Now, why is that becomes more senseful? Because you understand with the unity of the friends, you're also less stressed out. You begin to feel more comfortable with the friends. You begin to feel like there's this relaxed, nice completeness amongst you. Okay? And those are the little signs that we're getting from the Creator saying, look, how good it is to sit down here with the friends and the Creator between us. Right? So everybody's effort, when it starts to build and build and build, it starts to accumulate inside of us a new feeling. And with the feeling comes a new understanding on top of our previous approach to life. At that time, it is relevant to say that he should learn from their actions. Absolutely. So the more we're all a good example to each other about how to help and how to care for each other, then it's like a volcano. It's like a chain reaction, and everybody's like running around helping each other out. Okay. And this is going to help us more and more, because every time we help more, we're going to see that our egoism is also growing. All right? Because we can't go without the ego, right? It can't all be honky-dory. Okay? So what we have to do is we have to always build that higher level of above reason. Every time, once we do that, we need to get more egoism. So we bestow, try to love the friends more. We're giving a good push, and then a new level of egoism must pop up. Why is that important? Because when a new level of egoism comes up, my new egoistic degree begins to, feel a bit more coarse. To overcome that, I'm going to have to go above reason again. Now, every time I'm going above reason, my ego is growing up. I'm going above reason. I'm actually building wisdom and the attribute of bestowal above my mind, above my current logic. Okay, this is why ongoing bestowal and helping out to the friends in the group is a must. Okay, this is one thing we cannot fall from, because if we all did, okay, then it's just going to be like a, house of cards tumbling down. Okay, you see what I mean? So we have to go, we're constantly, it's like building a building, right? We're constantly building another block and another block and another block and another block. So our egoism is always growing. So to accompany that growing ego, we need to constantly complement, counter the growing ego with more bestowal, which allows us to understand our current state, a deeper understanding of our egoistic nature. It'll bring us to a greater desire to go above our egoism, because the greater the ego, the more I see how much damage I'm doing to who? To myself. Okay? Because with your ego, you're only hurting yourself. And that is going to give me a bigger drive and a push if and only if I use the society correctly. If I don't, the growing ego will bring me down, because they're like shackles on your legs. All right. Do you see what I mean? This is why the group has to be there as a leverage, as some kind of a lifesaver, a life jacket. Someone's going to throw that, ring from the ship so I can hold on to it. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. This is why the ego is growing all the time. And if I'm studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, I have to get the love, that leverage from the group. I've got to bestow to the group. The group has to bestow to me. We've got to make the goal, once again, more important. And we've got to work towards bestowing to the friends a little bit more and a little bit more. This push. Think of it like birth contractions. Not that I've been through one, but we can just resonate with it. Okay. So as you get closer and closer to birth, you need to push more. The baby is pushing, the mother's pushing, everybody's pushing, and finally we're gonna have a birth. And that's from both sides. Okay. The baby, which is the new state that has to be revealed. Okay. And you currently working to reveal that next state. Okay. This is why there's pressure from both sides. Okay. On the side of the bestower and on the side of the desire to receive. Okay. And that's constantly going to be there for us. But if we have a good crew, okay, like a good, I don't know, what do you call it? Good hospital and a good set of nurses, we can have a good delivery. Okay. So, oh my goodness. We've got two more. Let's nail them. Oh, we've got questions, have we? Ingrid's asking, is it necessary to grow the desire for spirituality when one doesn't have the right conditions? There's no such thing as right conditions. If you wait for right conditions for anything in life, you'll get old and you will die. Okay? There's never a right condition. There's a desire and you running around to fulfill that desire. You can't have right conditions. That's just wishful thinking. All right. So it's a good question. No, there's always, you've got to take what's life offering you, and you've got to work with the toolbox you've got. Okay. And that's it. So we have to do the best as much as we can, okay, according to the conditions that we're in. All right. Yeah. But we must never, ever think that the conditions are not good. You start waiting for right conditions, I promise you, they will never, ever come. You've got to just keep pushing with what you've got. Good question, though. Right, let's do it. Where are we? Item 6. Okay. So 7 and 8 we've got, right? We've just done 6. 7, Rabash article number 30. What to look for in the assembly of friends? By reason, the friends are the ones who should love him, but he overcomes his reason, goes above reason, and says, it is not worth living for myself. And thus, he already has something to reply to the body. Let's read that again. By reason, the friends are the ones who should love him, but he overcomes his reason, goes above reason, and says, it is not worth living for myself. Thus, he already has something to reply to the body. Okay, so by default, our nature says to us, people should love me. Okay, that's right. That's how logic works. Okay, people should love me. However, though, we're studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, and the last person that I should be thinking about is me. Okay, so what I have to do is work the other way around. Now, sometimes I say, I don't say, but I see people saying that the friends don't like me. It doesn't matter. All of the friends could hate you, actually. Okay. The important thing is you want to love them. All right. Because if we start thinking about, well, I'm going to scratch your back, you better scratch mine, then that's not going to be very correct in our spiritual approach. Because love and bestowal means I don't think about self-benefit. So even if in my eyes, it looks like the friends do not like me, to the best of my abilities, I try to help them, and I try to be like someone they would like, and completely try to go above my reason in doing so, because I want to attain the love of others, and I'm not expecting anything from others. All right, so we've got to sort our direction, because the creator doesn't think about himself. If you think about yourself, it means you are lacking. Okay, this is why they say the creator doesn't think of himself, because if he did, he would not be perfect. He would not be whole. So whenever we think about ourselves, it's a sign that we are not a whole. Okay, so we're lacking stuff. Let's take a look at number 8. Nail it and call it a night. Baal Islam letter number 47. Let me remind you the validity of love of friends in spite of everything at this time, for it is upon this that our right to exist depends, and upon this our near to come success is measured. Hence, turn away from all the imaginary engagements and set your hearts on thinking thoughts and devising proper tactics to truly connect your hearts as one. Let me remind you the validity of love of friends in spite of everything at this time, for it is upon this that our right to exist depends, and upon this our near to come success is measured. This is a golden rule that will never and ever be cancelled. The existence of any spiritual group in the wisdom of Kabbalah, that's what I'm talking about only, is only dependent on the love of friends and nothing else. All right, love of friends, obviously, in order to attain the attribute of love and bestowal and connect with the Creator, right? We never forget about the Creator. That's the end goal. And the way to get there, the only successful way, is the love of others. Hence, turn away from all the imaginary engagements and set your hearts on thinking thoughts and devising proper tactics to truly connect your hearts as one. All right, so basically saying stop mucking around and wasting time in social media and get smashing with the love of friends. Okay, that's the 21st century translation. Stop wasting your life. All right. So obviously that was written in the 30s and 40s where there was no social media. Okay, so we could all sit down and practice the love of friends. Okay, however, with all the distraction, we've got to put some extra backbone into it, obviously, and push a little harder to make sure that our thoughts, desires, and the things we think about and desire in life are connected to the goal. All right, hopefully that's all. We're good. Ashley, no questions left. All right, lovely, jubbly. Have a good night, and hopefully we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.